Here on the left-hand side, we have our left-hand navigation menu. So we have actions, my activities, accounts, submissions, renewals, and so forth. And then up top here, we have what we refer to as our highway, where we want to go. Sometimes there's going to be an off-ramp, and it may have additional information for the policies. So maybe the account holder's name, what line of business it is, whether it's auto or homeowners. So I'll point that information out to you along the way as well. So along this highway, we have account. So if I was to click on the word account, that's going to take me into the very last account that I was in. If I click on the drop down next to it, bunch of different options. I can create a new account. I can search by account number. I could also view the last 5 or 10 accounts that I was in, depending on the preferences that I have set. And then same thing with policy. If I click on the word policy, it's going to take me back into the very last policy that I was in. And then again, I can also start a new submission, which Jake mentioned. Submission is the new terminology for a quote. That's all it is. So I could search by submission number, policy number, and then again, I could view the last 5 or 10 policies that I was in. The system defaults to the last 5, but I changed it to the last 10. So I'll show you how to do that as well if you want to. I can also search by contact. If I click on this word search up here, I can search, and I'm on the advanced tab. You can change that back and forth between basic or advanced. But you can search by name, address, location. I can also search by product type if I wanted to do it by home or auto, umbrella. I can also do it by agent number. So this is pretty cool because if you have an agency producer that's out of the office for the day or they're no longer with the agency and you want to view their submissions, their policies that are assigned to them, you can search by their agency number right here. And then I also have a link for Ask Service Ops. So if you were to click on that, that would take you into those Ask Service Ops articles that Jake mentioned. And then we also have Farmers links. So there's a little drop down here. There's a link to get me to the Personal Lines product page, University of Farmers, ECMS, customer payments, flood. So it would launch me into all those different areas. One thing to note though is that in the sandbox, these links, these two right here, Ask Service Ops and the Farmers links, will not be active, but they will absolutely be available and ready when the system goes live. I also want to point out this little resource center. This is like a Pendo tool. If I click on that, you're going to see there's, if there's any reported issues, they'll show up here, system updates, how-to articles, step-by-step job aids. Sometimes there's going to be a little number next to this, like there might be a number 5, and there might be, that just means under system updates or one of these areas, there's a new update. So as long as you click on it and view through it, that number will disappear. And then as far as the templates, so there's this little gear icon at the very top right. It's kind of hard to see, but it's a little gray gear icon. If I click on that, and if I go to my templates right here and click on that, this is going to let the agent change the templates for the agency. So let's say that an agent has an agency standard. They only want to quote all their home policies with personal liability of $500,000. They want the guest medical to always default to $5,000. They want the deductible to always default to $1,000. So if you have an agency standard, you would just go ahead, change those preferences in here. You could also do it for the auto policies, and then you would just hit update at the top left. Keep in mind that if you have agency producers, they have to go in and individually set their templates as well. As the agency owner, it's only doing it for yourself. So just have every person in the agency do that if you want them to. Also, if you click on this little gear icon again and click on preferences this time, this is where you can change, and I think it popped up down here. Click that open. Yep. So if you wanted to change the last 5 policies or 5 accounts to 10, like I did, you could just type in the number 10 here, and then you would just click update at the top left, and then that would change that. And let's see, let me go back to my desktop. Oh, last thing, my work list. So this is, let me pop this open. This is going to launch a new browser or a new window. This is going to display the last 100 transactions for the past 7 days. And there's these little ones that are lighter blue are hyperlinks. So you could click on them and it'll bring you into that person's account or that person's quote. And this refreshes every 30 seconds. You'll notice this little green box counting down. All that's going to do is if you were in one of these accounts or in a different account, it's going to bring the very last one that you were in up to the top. Little background on my work list. So when Policy Center first launched with farmers, it was marketed as a one-screen machine. We let agents know, hey, you're never going to have to go in, launch a browser, another window. Everything's going to be just on this one screen. And the agents were like, hold up, we need to be able to go into multiple windows at a time. If I'm talking to Kathy and Tim calls me or Brad calls me, I want to have multiple windows up. So they went in, reconfigured it, and so now that's the option. So let's say that I wanted to get into Brad's information. I'm going to click on change summary here. I can do whatever I need to do. I'll give it a second to launch. But I could be doing whatever I need to do. If I need to update things, look things up for him, I could do that. And then I could just X out of here, do whatever I need, and you'll never lose your place on this main screen here. So pretty cool. And then also you'll notice it's going to refresh. It's going to look like it's glitching. It's just refreshing. And there Brad is at the very top of the screen. But yeah, as you're doing these, you'll never lose your place on your main screen. Need to get into a quote. So in order to start a new submission or a new quote, as it's referred to in Express, in the sandbox, we need to create a new account. And the only time that you're going to have to create a new account is in the sandbox. Normally, like when the system goes live, you'll just continue quoting the same way you always do, whether it's from Apex or from ECMS. But from here, to create a new account, a couple different ways to do it. So you're going to hear me say this a lot. It's going to be like drilled into your account right here. Or I could go up to this account, click that little drop down and click on new account right there, which is how I'll do it this time. And I'm going to fill in the information. So this will be for Ryan Bailey. And I'm going to hit search. If he is in the system already, he's going to show up down here at the bottom, but he's not. It returns 0 results. So I'm going to create a new account. And then as Ryan mentioned, anything with an asterisk has to be completed in order to do a quote. So I'm just going to go through, fill everything in that needs to be filled out. Now there's certain things like phone number, email. We do not need these to do a quote, but we will need that in order to validate the policy. So rather than backtrack, we're just going to go ahead and complete it now since we have the information readily available. So as far as the addresses, let me just pull it up here. You can use Google, Google random California addresses, whatever address you want to do. You could use Zillow. So I'm just going to go with this one in Anaheim.